Attention Commanders fans, the news we've got today is going to shake all of Washington. First up, two of our key weapons are about to return for Week 5 against the Browns. Thought this game was going to be tough? Not so fast. But watch out, one of them could still be a game-time decision. And that's not all. An NFL top analyst has dropped his prediction on who's taking home the win in this matchup. Can you picture our Commanders running the NFC East with another back-to-back win? Finally, remember that rookie linebacker who's been sidelined with an injury? He might make his debut this Sunday. He's been waiting for his moment, and it looks like the wait is over. Check this out. This is what I've been saying all along, folks. The Commanders are about to get two key weapons back for Week 5 against the Browns. Two. Not one, but two. Now I'm asking you all, what does this mean for our team? First off, let's talk about Brian Robinson Jr., our lead running back. Has this guy been on fire or what? Of course he has. He's in the top 10 of rushers in the whole league, and that's before the Thursday night football game. But we've got one little detail we can't overlook. He hasn't practiced in 2 days. 2 days. And that, my friends, has me thinking, should we be worried? I'd say yes and no. Dan Quinn, our beloved head coach, said that Robinson will be a game-time decision. And that's where the uncertainty comes in. But let me tell you this. If Robinson suits up on Sunday, the Browns' defense is going to have their hands full trying to stop him. And that's not all. Here's some more good news. Austin Ekeler is out of concussion protocol. What a relief. This guy isn't just a lethal weapon in the ground game. He also wreaks havoc on special teams. Remember his 50-yard return against the Bengals in Week 3? I'm telling you, Ekeler is a spark for this team, and having him back is a blessing. And I know what some of you are thinking. Yeah, but Robinson is the key. You're absolutely right. I'm with you on that. But when you've got a guy like Ekeler who can break off big plays at any moment, that's a game changer. Now, back to the main point, because I don't want anyone getting lost in the details. Robinson is the heart and soul of our ground game. This dude sets the tone from the start. He's that back who's not afraid to hit hard, to push, to fight for every yard. And against a tough Browns defense, that's exactly what we need. A guy who can run between the tackles and wear down that defensive line. But, of course, it all depends on whether he plays. And that's the big if. So I'm asking you, do you think we should risk Robinson if he's not 100%? Or would you rather see Ekeler take on a heavier load this Sunday? And I haven't forgotten about the other guys. Unfortunately, Noah Brown and Clelin Ferrell are out. And to be honest, that stings a bit, especially with Ferrell out on the defensive line. But that's not all. Marcus Mariota, Jordan Magee, and F.A. Obata are still questionable. Quinn says decisions on these guys will be made over the weekend, but what concerns me is the lack of depth at some key positions. So my friends, here's my question for you. What would you do if you were Quinn? Would you risk Robinson and go all in, or would you play it safe and let Ekeler carry the ground game? I'll tell you this game against the Browns is crucial. Not just for the standings, but because this team needs to prove it can hold its own, even when injuries hit hard. We've already seen how this squad can surprise us. Now's the time to make everything click. Pete Prisco from CBS Sports already said what many of us are thinking. The Commanders are going to win this game. He predicts a 28-17 score in our favor. And I'm telling you, it's totally possible. But there's more to it, and that's where I want to dive in. Yes, it's true that the Browns are struggling. Deshaun Watson isn't playing his best football, and their offensive line looks like Swiss cheese, full of holes. That's real. But are we just going to rely on the fact that the opponent is in bad shape? No. This is where the Commanders need to step up, and we can't get complacent. Listen up, because I'm going to tell you what this team needs to do. This game is won in the trenches, and our defense has to go all out from the first snap. If we let Watson breathe, even if he's banged up and out of rhythm, he can complicate things for us. Pressure is key. Now I ask you, do you think our defense, with Chase Young leading the charge, is going to dominate an offensive line full of backups? I believe so. But it has to happen from the get-go, with no hesitations and with an aggressive mindset. And speaking of mindset, Jaden Daniels, what more can be said about this kid? The calm he's shown in these early weeks has been incredible. Is he the Rookie of the Year? Well, that's yet to be seen, but one thing is clear. This guy has what it takes to lead this team. And keep an eye on his connection with Dyami Brown. It's been pure fire. So I ask you, don't you think Daniels holds the future of this franchise in his hands? Because I'm telling you, if he keeps playing like this, there's no doubt. Now, back to the game. If there's one thing we can't allow, it's complacency. We can't give the Browns any chance to get back in the game. With a win, we'd match the total number of victories from last season. And I want you to think about what that means. A radical change from what we experienced under the previous regime. Doesn't that excite you? I'm telling you, this is just the beginning of something much bigger. I want you to ask yourselves one last question. Are we ready to dominate this division? Or are we going to be those teams that start strong but crumble when it matters most? I'm telling you, this is the time to make a statement, to solidify what we've built in these early weeks. This is our year, don't doubt it. Jordan Magee, ladies and gentlemen, is about to make his highly anticipated NFL debut. But let me ask you this first. How important is it for a fifth-round rookie like Magee to finally get his shot? I'll tell you this. This kid has been dealing with a meniscus injury since the first preseason game, and that was against the Jets. And guess what? He had surgery. So, if you ask me, when a player suffers an injury this early in their career, it can define them for life. But do you know what has me really excited for him? I believe this guy hasn't stopped studying. While others might be sulking or just waiting to recover, Magee has been soaking everything up like a sponge. Why? Because he's not just any linebacker. This kid comes from Temple, a school that hasn't seen 3 wins in a season since 2019. Imagine coming from a program that doesn't teach you to win consistently and suddenly finding yourself on one of the hottest teams in the league with a 3-1 record. How could you not want to learn everything you can for when your moment comes? That's what I call a winner's attitude. Now I ask you, what would you do if you were in his shoes? You're watching your teammates, the veterans, tear it up on the field, and Wagner and Frankie Louvu are sharing their wisdom on blitzes, while you're sitting on the bench, but not disconnected. No, sir. Magee has been asking questions, taking notes, talking to guys like Michael Walker, who's been doing his thing on special teams. And that brings me to my next point. I think Magee is going to come in strong on special teams, because that's what a rookie like him has to do. Earn his spot. But hold on. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. On the contrary, it's the logical step. How many players don't start on special teams and then become defensive stars? Look at the greats. Many made their debut this way, and I wouldn't be surprised if Magee, after a few games, starts to make a name for himself on defense too. Now you might say, well, it's just his debut on special teams, why the fuss? That's where you're wrong. Every play, every second this kid spends on the field is an opportunity to show what he's got. I want to leave you with this, family. Success in the NFL isn't just talent. It's also opportunity. Will this be the start of Magee's rise in the Commanders' defense? Leave your comments below and join the conversation. And now the key question for all of you. Are you ready to see the Washington Commanders explode in Week 5? Or do you think injuries will be a tough obstacle to overcome? Let me know your thoughts down below, and let's talk about what could happen in the upcoming game. I want to hear your opinion. Do you think we're ready for an impressive 4-1 and to keep this dominant streak going? Tell me in the comments if you trust that Jayden Daniels is the QB we need to take us to the top of the league. If you agree, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The last question for you is this: can Magee be the difference this team needs? After such a challenging recovery, do you think he has what it takes to surprise us all? I can't wait to read your thoughts and debate with you. This channel wouldn't be the same without you, the true fans of the Commanders. So join this great family, subscribe and be part of our community, where we share our passion for the team and support each other. And remember, hail to the Redskins!